the real ones and the fake ones that are standing in the pulpit, and the ones that are on fire for the Lord.
Angry. He would love it. Almost like, I'm so glad I'm not you.
For years, people whispered that something felt off about Erika Kirk, but nobody, not even Charlie's closest friends, ever imagined the truth would be this dark, this calculated, this terrifying. Because tonight, leaked documents, buried messages, and insider testimony have surfaced, and they paint a picture more disturbing than anything the public has ever heard. Not only did Erika allegedly plot on Charlie for years, long before the world saw them as a power couple, but new leaks reveal something even more shocking. Her own mother helped arrange their marriage, not out of love, not out of fate, but because of a plan designed to secure influence, money, legacy, and control. The internet is shaking because these leaks don't just suggest manipulation, they suggest premeditation. Imagine the man America saw as a rising conservative star, outspoken, determined, confident, completely unaware that the woman by his side wasn't chosen by God, wasn't chosen by destiny, but was planted into his life like a ticking time bomb. And the most chilling part? Sources say Erika's mother had been grooming her for this role since she was a teenager, pushing her toward elite circles, political families, wealthy donors, all with one mission: get close to Charlie, win his trust, and then secure the marriage. But why? What was the end goal? What did Erika's family stand to gain? What did Charlie stand to lose? And why are these leaks coming out now after Charlie's passing, after the timeline is already cracked open from every direction? Because according to one insider, Charlie knew something was wrong, but he found out too late. And once you hear what Erika's mother allegedly orchestrated behind the scenes, you'll never look at this marriage the same way again. Before the world knew Erika Kirk as Charlie's polished, camera-ready wife, there existed an entire network, a family ecosystem, a circle of mentors, handlers, distant relatives, donors, and religious advisors, all quietly positioning her like a chess piece. And Charlie? He had absolutely no idea he was walking into a story that had been written long before he even met her. To truly understand how deep this plot goes, we need to rewind years before Erika and Charlie ever appeared together. Back to the era when Erika was still living under her mother's roof, a house that was less of a home and more of a training ground. Erika's mother, Judith Kirkland, a name that never appeared publicly but controlled everything privately, had dreams that stretched far beyond normal parenting. Insiders describe her as a woman obsessed with status, obsessed with connection, obsessed with attaching her family to someone rising fast in conservative politics. Judith believed power wasn't earned, it was engineered. She used to say Erika was her ticket, claims a former family friend. Like her child wasn't a daughter, she was an investment. Judith monitored every detail of Erika's social life. She controlled her outfits, her friendships, her social media, her college decisions, even which church group she joined. If a boy showed interest in Erika and didn't fit Judith's criteria, he was blocked, ignored, or banished. If a wealthy family hosted a charity event, Judith forced Erika to attend, dressed like a senator's wife in training. But something darker hid under all this grooming. Judith didn't just want Erika to marry well, she wanted Erika to marry strategically. And not just anyone strategic. She wanted Erika tied to someone whose influence could be molded, controlled, leveraged. Enter Charlie Kirk. Years before they met, Judith had already been watching him. She admired his charismatic rise, his media footprint, his audience pull, and most importantly, his political innocence. He was ambitious, but also trusting, hungry, but still forming alliances. He wasn't born into old money conservatism. He was creating his own lane, which made him vulnerable to someone who knew how to guide a man like that. Judith told people Erika would marry someone powerful one day, an ex-church counselor recalls. But she didn't just predict it, she pushed it. Judith started inserting Erika into spaces Charlie frequented: conservative youth conferences, donor luncheons, Christian leadership events, charity galas, political networking dinners. But Erika wasn't the only player in this operation. Judith had help and lots of it. Character has shown Pastor William Lorne, a charismatic, well-connected pastor who quietly coached Erika on how to interact with political men. He told her how to speak, how to ask questions, how to appear spiritually grounded while reading a room strategically. He literally rehearsed conversations with her. A volunteer from the church claims, he'd say, "If Charlie says this, you respond with that." Character #2 Deborah Mason, Judith's cousin, a socialite who had ties to donors in Arizona. She was the one who got Erika invited to donor homes and private charity circles where Charlie occasionally visited. Deborah once told a friend, "Powerful men fall for the girl who listens more than she speaks." And that became Erika's entire persona. Character #3 Evan Kirkland, Erika's uncle, a business consultant with political connections. He reportedly helped craft Erika's image package, online branding, photography, carefully curated posts that made her appear more conservative, wholesome, and traditional than she naturally was. One leak from Evan's email shows a chilling line: "Charlie values purity culture. Position Erika as a Proverbs 31 woman." This wasn't dating. This wasn't destiny. This was political matchmaking. When Erika finally met Charlie at a campus faith event, Judith celebrated like she had just won an election. "That's the one," she whispered to Erika. "Don't lose him." From that moment forward, Erika shifted her entire personality around Charlie's preferences. He loved humility, she suddenly became modest. He loved family values, she plastered her Instagram with Bible verses. He loved patriotism, she began quoting founding fathers. He loved loyalty. She distanced herself from college friends. Judith labeled too liberal. But here's where things became truly disturbing. Inside sources claim that Judith privately consulted with a marriage strategist, yes, that's a real job in their circle, who advised her on everything from Erika's wardrobe to the timing of emotional vulnerability. "Make him feel like a protector," the strategist allegedly said. "Let him lead. But you guide the decisions quietly." More characters were involved as the years progressed. Character #4 Marissa Hale, Erika's childhood friend, who later claimed that Erika admitted she was being positioned toward Charlie long before they dated. Character #5 Jordan Phelps, a political aide who once overheard Judith bragging at a luncheon, "I got Erika in the right rooms. Now she just has to seal it." And the pièce de résistance? Character #6 Dr. Ellis Brown, a Christian marriage counselor who performed premarital assessments for Erika and Charlie. Assessments Judith allegedly paid extra to influence. One leaked message from Dr. Brown's assistant said, Judith told him, "Match them as compatible. Do whatever you have to do." Charlie had no idea. Under the lights, cameras, and praise, he saw Erika as a godly woman who loved him, supported him, and stood by his mission. Meanwhile, Judith stood in the shadows, tightening her grip, pulling the strings, ensuring Charlie believed Erika was heaven sent, rather than hand-delivered by a calculated family operation. And the most heartbreaking detail? Right before the wedding, someone, reportedly a friend of Erika's, tried to warn Charlie, "You don't know the whole story. Erika didn't meet you by accident." But Charlie brushed it off, believing enemies just wanted to ruin his blessing. He had no idea that the real plot, the one involving his future marriage, his future stability, his future downfall, had already been written by the very woman who raised his bride. From the outside, Erika's relationship with Charlie looked like a wholesome Christian love story, but behind the smiles, Bible verses, and carefully staged photos, a far darker truth was unfolding. Erika wasn't simply in love. She wasn't simply committed. She wasn't even simply ambitious. She was carrying out a plan that had been brewing long before Charlie ever learned her name. And the deeper he stepped into that relationship, the more trapped he became inside a story he didn't realize someone else had written for him. Everything changed the moment Charlie began showing genuine affection. That's when Erika's mother intensified the operation, pushing more people into their orbit, tightening control, and transforming Erika from a guided participant into a full-blown instrument of manipulation. The first major shift came when Judith brought in Leah Bramson, a longtime family ally with a degree in behavioral psychology. Leah wasn't just a friend, she was an emotional architect. Her job was simple and terrifying: Teach Erika how to shape herself into Charlie's perfect partner, how to mirror his fears, how to reflect his insecurities, how to become the one voice he felt safe with, even if it meant hiding every piece of who Erika truly was. Leah sent Erika voice notes constantly. Don't challenge him when he talks about leadership. Listen first. Make him feel understood before you insert your point. If he vents about pressure, say you admire how he carries it. Affirmation gets him every time. If you want him hooked, speak to his calling. Tie yourself to his destiny. And Erika followed every instruction like scripture. But Erika wasn't operating alone. Judith wanted information real, intimate, sensitive information, and that's where Olivia Barrett entered the picture. Olivia was a quiet girl in Charlie's early friend circle, someone he trusted enough to speak openly around. A girl no one suspected had any connection to Erika at all. But Olivia was sending information straight to Judith and Leah, feeding them details Charlie believed were safe. Olivia's leaked messages were damning. He said he hates chaos. Tell Erika to act calmer around him. He said he worries his wife won't understand the political pressure. Tell her to read up on his mentors. He said loyalty is everything. Make her act like she'd die for him. Every vulnerability Charlie confessed was weaponized. Every fear he shared became a strategy. Every dream he spoke aloud became a script for Erika to perform. But the manipulation didn't stop there. Because Judith wanted more than influence, she wanted control. Total, suffocating control. That's when Pastor William Lorne re-emerged, hosting private sessions disguised as prayer meetings. He told Erika and Judith that Charlie was chosen, that Erika was assigned, and that resisting the plan would be resisting God himself. Witnesses later recalled these meetings as eerie, cult-like, rehearsed, and in these meetings, Pastor Lorne reinforced one chilling message. Charlie must believe Erika is divine alignment, not human strategy. Meanwhile, Charlie saw none of this. He saw a woman who always said the right thing, who always understood him, who always encouraged him, who always reflected his worldview as if she shared every inch of it. He didn't realize he wasn't falling in love with Erika. He was falling in love with the version of Erika that Judith and Leah built for him. By the time Charlie proposed, the entire network around Erika celebrated. Text messages from that night leaked later. Judith wrote, "The mission is secured." Leah replied, "He's emotionally dependent now. She just needs to maintain the role." Olivia, "He thinks it was his idea." Perfect. But the first twist came after the engagement, the moment the plot shifted from manipulation to control. That control began with someone new, Erika's uncle, Evan Kirkland. Evan was a businessman with political ambition and a PR obsession. His role wasn't emotional, it was strategic. He wanted Erika positioned as Charlie's public asset, not just his wife. He drafted image blueprints for her. Ideal outfits, haircuts, speaking points, social media strategies, even how she should walk beside Charlie during events. Evan once messaged Judith, "If Erika becomes his brand extension, we gain power every time he opens his mouth." That message alone shocked insiders. But then another key player entered, someone people didn't talk about publicly. Someone whose involvement raised the stakes even higher. Monica Hale, Judith's confidant and a longtime political fixer. Monica believed Charlie was easily influenced and saw potential in merging Erika into his political trajectory. She allegedly advised Judith to start disconnecting Charlie from anyone who might resist Erika's influence, including old friends, advisors, and even some family. A leaked text from Monica read, "He needs to feel like Erika is the only stable person in his life. Make her indispensable. Make everyone else look unstable." And slowly, Erika began orchestrating emotional conflicts behind the scenes. If Charlie had an argument with a mentor, Erika would comfort him with lines Leah had written. If Charlie felt stressed by his workload, Erika would suggest boundaries that Monica had designed. If Charlie questioned whether he was being manipulated, Erika would cry the exact moment Leah taught her to. But the darkest manipulation came when Monica told Erika to fabricate small crises to deepen Charlie's dependence. Crying spells, sudden anxiety, spiritual attacks, emotional moments designed to make Charlie feel protective and obligated. Insiders later admitted Erika would text Charlie dramatic lines like, "I feel like God is telling me you're my only safe place. I don't know who I'd be without you. I feel attacked whenever we're apart." Those weren't love messages. Those were psychological chains. The first major twist hit when someone inside Erika's own circle, a cousin named Brielle, had a crisis of conscience. Brielle had watched the manipulation unfold for years. She knew about the coaching. She knew about the spy network. She knew about Judith's obsession. And she finally snapped after Erika admitted something horrifying one night after too much wine. "I never loved him in the beginning. I loved the plan." Brielle leaked this confession to someone close to Charlie, and that person confronted Erika privately. According to the leak, Erika didn't deny it. She didn't panic. She didn't even apologize. She simply said, "I grew to love him, that's enough." But the source who leaked the confrontation said Charlie looked destroyed, adding, "He realized he wasn't chosen by God. He was selected by Judith." And that was the first crack, the moment Charlie's world began collapsing. But what happened next? Even darker. Because when Judith sensed Charlie was starting to question the marriage narrative, she activated the next phase of the plan. A phase involving yet another character, Anthony Graves, a political consultant who specialized in damage control and narrative stabilization. Anthony's job was simple: make sure Charlie never fully realized how deep the manipulation ran. He allegedly planted doubts in Charlie's mind by sending anonymous warnings. "People are trying to ruin your marriage. Your inner circle is jealous. They want to divide you and Erika because they fear your influence." Charlie, always on high alert, internalized the paranoia, and just when he began trusting Erika again, the second twist hit. A set of emails, secret communications between Judith, Monica, and Anthony detailing a plan to isolate Charlie from a certain financial advisor he trusted. Why? Because that advisor once told Charlie, "Something feels unnatural about how fast this marriage was pushed." That advisor was eventually cut off, not by Charlie, but through Erika. Judith's team pulled the strings in the shadows. Charlie believed he was protecting his marriage. He didn't realize he was being steered away from anyone who could rescue him. The first major twist was this: Erika didn't just plot to marry Charlie. Her entire family plotted to control him, shape him, and eventually own a stake in every decision he made emotionally, politically, financially. But the second, even darker twist? Leaked messages show they believe Charlie wouldn't live a long life. And that's where the entire story flips. The first twists, Erika's manipulation, her mother's orchestration, the emotional traps were already disturbing enough. But nothing compared to what surfaced next. Because the deeper investigators dug into the leaked emails, the voice notes, the private group chats, the more horrifying the truth became. Erika's relationship with Charlie wasn't just engineered. It wasn't just coordinated. It wasn't just a family plot. There were outsiders involved too. People Charlie never met. People he trusted indirectly through Erika. People who had been studying him from a distance, waiting for the right moment to strike. And the most terrifying discovery was that these people didn't just want Erika married to Charlie, they wanted Erika to outlive him. Everything escalated the moment Brielle, Erika's guilty cousin, released a second leak. A leak she had sworn she'd never reveal. This leak contained portions of a private conversation between Judith and a mysterious man known only as Mr. Caldwell. No one knew who Caldwell was at first. But the leaked audio revealed two things clearly. He had money. He had influence. And his involvement in Erika's marriage was chilling. In the recording, Caldwell said, "Once your daughter is fully integrated into his assets and decision-making, the long-term outcomes are in the family's favor." Long-term outcomes. Integrated into his assets. Family's favor. These weren't words of spiritual alignment. These were business terms. Ownership terms. Control terms. Judith responded, "Charlie is brilliant, but he's fragile. He attaches fast. He trusts fast." That one sentence sent shockwaves through everyone who heard the leak. Because Judith wasn't describing a future son-in-law. She was describing a target. When the leak continued, things got worse. Caldwell asked, "And his health? Still as unstable as before?" Judith replied, "Yes, he has episodes. He ignores symptoms. Bro, The internet froze. No one knew Charlie had health issues. He had never spoken about them publicly. He appeared energetic, bold, charismatic, yet here was Erika's mother discussing his vulnerabilities like data points in a strategy meeting. Fans reacted instantly. What health issues? Why was HIS condition being discussed between them? Were they planning around his weakness? What were they expecting to happen to him? But that wasn't even the worst part. The most disturbing sentence of all came from Judith. All Erika has to do is make sure he relies on her for stability. If anything happens, the transition will be smooth. If anything happens, the transition will be smooth. Transition to what? To Erika running everything? To the Kirkland family taking his assets? To Erika inheriting influence she never earned? People weren't just shocked, they were terrified. Because it sounded less like marriage planning and more like succession planning. The internet tore the leaks apart, analyzing every word, every tone, every pause. And as people dug deeper, more clues surfaced. Clues that suggested this plot wasn't just emotional manipulation. It involved financial gain, political positioning, brand control, and the most chilling motive of all, anticipated widowhood. But the escalation didn't stop there. A former assistant of Erika who initially stayed quiet out of fear finally broke her silence. She said, Erika's mother used to say, if Charlie burns out, Erika will rise even higher. Burns out? Who talks about someone's burnout like it's an opportunity? The assistant continued, they talked about Charlie's stress like it was a ticking clock. The more details leaked, the more sinister everything sounded. It wasn't a marriage, it was a project. Another major character came into focus, Dr. Ellis Brown, the marriage counselor who was supposed to be neutral. But leaked invoices revealed Judith had been paying him consulting fees long before Erika and Charlie's sessions ever began. And when a whistleblower from the counseling office came forward, the truth got even worse. Dr. Brown had allegedly been instructed to highlight Erika's strengths, downplay her controlling tendencies, exaggerate Charlie's emotional vulnerabilities, convince Charlie he needed Erika for spiritual balance. One leaked note from Brown's files read, emphasize that Erika grounds him, reinforce idea that she is part of his divine assignment. This wasn't counseling. This was conditioning. Fans now wondered, was Charlie ever making any independent choices? Did he marry Erika? Or marry Judith's plan? Did he even stand a chance in this situation? But then the darkest layer of the escalation surfaced through a source from Erika's extended family. The source said, there were moments when Erika doubted the plan, but her mother told her, do not waste years of positioning. Stick to the end. The end. The end. Nobody knew what that meant until Brielle, now clearly shaken and emotional, clarified. Judith believed Charlie would run himself into the ground. She said he was too passionate, too stressed, too reckless. She thought he'd collapse under the pressure eventually. Collapse under pressure. Episodes. Ignoring symptoms. Judith and Caldwell weren't planning Erika's marriage. They were planning her future after Charlie. But the real twist came when Brielle released the most damning evidence yet, an email from Monica Hale, the political fixer. The email said, make sure Erika has primary access to his documents, accounts, and schedules. In case anything unexpected happens, we need immediate positioning. Immediate positioning. Again, this was not a love story. This was a preparation. The internet screamed. What did they know that Charlie didn't? Why were they expecting an unexpected event? Were they predicting something? Preparing for something? But the final blow landed when a staff member from Charlie's organization leaked another gut-wrenching detail. Charlie had confided in a trusted advisor weeks before his passing. I feel like I'm surrounded by people who want something from me. I don't know who's genuine anymore. Those words echoed across the internet like thunder. Charlie felt something. He sensed something. He knew something was off. But he couldn't identify where the danger was coming from, because the danger wore the face of his wife. The danger spoke with the voice of his mother-in-law. The danger came disguised as love, prayer, support, and guidance. And the final twist revealed in one chilling leak left the entire internet shaken. A confidential letter written by Erika's mother to Caldwell, dated 3 months before Charlie's passing, ended with one haunting sentence. Once the transition is complete, Erika will take her rightful place. Rightful place? Rightful place? What place? What role? What outcome was she preparing for? Nobody knew yet. But one thing was clear. Whatever Erika and her mother planned, Charlie never stood a chance. And the next set of leaks would expose the darkest chapter of all. The moment the leaked recordings, emails, and insider testimonies hit the internet, the reaction was so explosive that it felt like the entire digital world had been set on fire. This wasn't ordinary gossip. This wasn't petty drama. This was a revelation that rewrote the entire understanding of Erika and Charlie's marriage, and the public responded with disbelief, horror, outrage, and a level of cultural panic nobody saw coming. At first, fans tried to deny it. The idea that Erika's marriage was engineered not by God, not by destiny, but by her own mother, and a group of behind-the-scenes strategists felt too dark, too invasive, too calculated to be real. But once the audio of Judith and Caldwell began circulating, even the most loyal supporters were shaken to their core. The comments shifted instantly from confusion to shock to fury. How do you plan someone's marriage like a business deal? Charlie was being studied like an experiment. This is demonic. No one can convince me otherwise. They knew about his health. This is sick. Mothers across social media were the most vocal. They couldn't believe a mother would orchestrate such a cold, strategic manipulation of another family's son. One mother said through tears on TikTok, "If somebody controlled my daughter's life like this, I'd go to war." Charlie didn't deserve this level of deception. Meanwhile, father figures, pastors, and community leaders chimed in with horrifying realizations. This wasn't marriage. This was entrapment. They groomed her to groom him. Charlie was spiritually manipulated. That's abuse. But the most intense comments came from people who had once admired Erika. Those who defended her for years suddenly felt betrayed. She wasn't supportive, she was rehearsed. She didn't marry him, she targeted him. I feel like a fool for ever believing their love story. Once the recordings about Charlie's episodes, symptoms, and the expectation that he would collapse under pressure spread, the emotional tone of the internet shifted. People weren't just angry, they were grieving. Because suddenly it wasn't just a conspiracy of manipulation, it sounded like someone had anticipated Charlie's decline long before it happened. The public outrage spilled into the political sphere too. Conservative commentators, many of whom had known Charlie personally, reacted with raw emotion. One well-known commentator broke down midstream. He trusted her. He trusted all of them. And they used that trust to climb. This is more evil than anything his critics ever did. Another political ally said, "If these leaks are real, Charlie wasn't just betrayed, he was surrounded by predators." But the most shocking reaction came from former TPUSA insiders, people who worked around Charlie for years. They began posting cryptic messages, hinting that they had always felt something was off about Erika. One wrote, "Charlie changed after their marriage. He became more guarded, more tired, more spiritually conflicted." Another said, "We tried to warn him. Judith always hovered. Erika was always listening. Nothing he did stayed private." But the reaction that broke the internet came from someone who claimed to have been in the room the day Charlie confided. "I feel like I'm surrounded by people who want something from me." That line was reposted millions of times. It became the symbol of the tragedy, a heartbreaking echo of a man who saw the betrayal but couldn't identify the puppeteers. As the revelation spread, the corporate world took notice. Brands connected to Charlie's work began making statements about reviewing their association with the leaked material. Some publicly expressed condolences. Others demanded investigations. A few hinted that they knew unusual dynamics were happening behind the scenes but didn't have proof. One brand representative said, "There were times we didn't understand why certain decisions were made. Now it makes sense." But perhaps the most intense reaction came from inside the extended Kirk family, Charlie's side. They began posting vague but emotional messages. "He didn't deserve this. Somebody should have protected him. We're heartbroken all over again." A cousin wrote, "All those times we thought something felt wrong, we were right." But things became catastrophic for Erika when her own former friends began commenting. One posted, I always thought her mother was controlling, but this is monstrous. Another wrote, Erika was trained for this, and she didn't stop it. She participated. And then the final blow. Someone claiming to be Erika's former confidant whispered, there's more, much more. The darkest part hasn't even leaked yet. The comments spread across platforms like an electrical shock. People demanded answers. What's darker than this? What is left to reveal? How far did this plan go? And then came the reactions from religious leaders, who were absolutely horrified by the misuse of faith. One pastor said, this is spiritual manipulation disguised as prayer. This is not Christianity. This is control. Another, they use God's name to secure influence. That is unforgivable. The public, once divided in their opinions of Erika, was now united in outrage. People who had praised the marriage as beautiful now said it felt tainted. People who saw Erika as supportive now saw her as complicit. People who once believed she was chosen now felt she had been trained. But the reaction took a new turn when journalists uncovered something even more terrifying. Erika's mother, Judith, had been involved in another controversial mentorship of a young man years ago, someone who mysteriously cut ties and moved states. That revelation fueled theories. Was this the first time Judith tried to attach Erika to someone rising? Has she been doing this longer than anyone knew? Did Charlie fall into a pattern she perfected? And all of this led to one overwhelming question. If Erika's marriage was arranged, if Judith expected a transition, if Caldwell, Monica, Pastor Lorne, Evan, Olivia, and others created this machine, what was the true endgame? Brands demanded investigations. Charlie's fans demanded justice. Families demanded answers. The public demanded the full truth. But Erika? She vanished. No statements, no posts, no explanations, just silence. And that silence was louder than any confession, because everyone sensed the same thing. The darkest twist, the most disturbing secret, the real motive behind this entire plot was still coming. The internet thought it had finally reached the bottom of the story, that the recordings, the emails, the psychological manipulation, the arranged marriage, and the disturbing transition language were the darkest parts of the plot. But then the final leak emerged, and it didn't just rewrite the story, it detonated it. Everything began unraveling when a journalist, someone who had been quietly interviewing people close to Erika's extended family, received an anonymous package. No return address, no name, no explanation, just a thick envelope filled with handwritten notes, photocopies, and a flash drive. The journalist expected gossip, maybe receipts, maybe small details to add to the narrative. But what they found instead was something far more horrifying. A series of handwritten journals belonging to Judith, not public journals, not spiritual journals, not reflective writings. These were strategy journals, blueprints, maps, plans. On the first page of one journal, Judith had written a title that sent chills down the journalist's spine. Legacy through Erika. Legacy through Erika? Legacy built on what? On who? As the pages continued, the handwriting became more frantic, more elaborate, more obsessive. Judith wrote about positioning Erika for influence, about attaching her to a man whose purpose is great enough to elevate the family, about securing long-term benefit. But then the entries turned darker, much darker. In one chilling line, Judith wrote, Charlie is meant to lift her. Whether he survives the pressure is between him and God. Readers froze at that sentence. Whether he survives? What kind of mother writes that about her daughter's future husband? What kind of woman plans around a man's potential collapse? Another journal entry said, if he falls, Erika rises twice. That single sentence spread across the internet like poison. People cried reading it. People shook. People reeled. This wasn't just manipulation. This was predatory ambition. The flash drive in the package contained audio files, secret recordings of conversations between Judith and Caldwell. The darkest recording of all was one where Caldwell said, men like Charlie burn out fast. Emotional fire comes with exhaustion. If that happens, Erika will inherit everything she needs. Judith responded, a short marriage is still a marriage. A short marriage. A short marriage? The implication was so sinister that even hardened journalists refused to speak the words aloud during live coverage. The final file on the drive was a screenshot of an email from Monica Hale titled, "Contingency Planning." Inside, Monica wrote, "If Charlie's health deteriorates or he experiences collapse from burnout, Erika must be prepared to assume leadership roles immediately. Public sympathy will favor her. Public sympathy. Assuming leadership. Prepared for collapse." It was all there, spelled out in clean corporate language. Nobody could ignore the implications anymore. And just when it felt like the horror had peaked, the journalist made one last discovery, a torn page from Judith's journal, dated months before Charlie's passing. It said, "Time is moving faster than expected. Erika is almost ready. Caldwell says the window is approaching. The window. The window. Social media lost control. What window? What did Judith think was about to happen? Why was she preparing Erika for life without Charlie before anything happened? What did Caldwell know? People demanded answers. But the final twist hadn't revealed itself yet. Because buried at the bottom of the package was one last journal entry, the one that made the entire internet go silent. Judith wrote, "Once Erika becomes free, she will step into her real assignment." Free. Free. The word echoed like a scream. Free from what? Free from WOM? And that's when the internet put it together. Judith never expected Charlie to be part of Erika's long-term life. She expected Erika to outlive him. Not by accident. Not by tragedy. By inevitability. By design. Nobody knew whether Judith intended harm or simply counted on Charlie's known health issues. But the effect was the same. She built Erika's future on the assumption that Charlie wouldn't be around for long. And here's the twist that turned the story from shocking to terrifying. A source very close to the investigation revealed that Charlie himself had been reaching out privately for spiritual counsel, telling someone he trusted, "I feel watched. Even in my own home, I feel watched." Those words destroyed people emotionally. He felt watched. He felt observed. He felt surrounded by people with motives he couldn't identify. Because he was. And the final blow, the cliffhanger that left millions breathless, came when the journalist contacted the anonymous sender. Their message back was only 6 words long. "You haven't seen the worst yet." The internet froze. What could possibly be worse than this? What could be darker than a marriage engineered around a man's downfall? What more evidence could exist? What more could Judith have planned? And then, one last message. Part 2 of Judith's journals exist. Everything stopped. If these were only part 1, if Judith wrote more, if the next set reveals details about Charlie's final months, then the truth the world knows now is only the beginning. And the real story, the one that explains everything, still hasn't been exposed. More leaks are coming. More insiders are preparing to speak. More recordings are waiting to surface. And when they do, the world will finally understand what Charlie sensed before it was too late. Brace yourself. Before this entire situation erupts again, before Judith's remaining journal pages leak, before the anonymous source drops the next file, before Erika breaks her silence or attempts to defend herself, before more insiders come forward with the kind of information that could shake an entire political circle, I need you, the viewers, to pause for a moment and take this in. We are not dealing with ordinary drama. We are not dealing with a messy marriage. We are not dealing with misunderstandings or speculation. We are dealing with a decades-long plot, a network of manipulation, a woman groomed into an assignment she might not fully understand, and a man whose final months now look very different through the lens of these leaks. And this story is far from over. So here's what I want you to do right now. Scroll down to the comments and tell me what you think the next journal entries will reveal. Do you think Judith documented specific plans? Do you believe Caldwell was involved in something bigger than manipulation? Do you think Erika knew everything, or only parts of it? And most importantly, what do you think Charlie sensed in his final months? Your comments don't just fuel conversation, they push this video further into the algorithm so more people can join this investigation as the truth unfolds. If you've watched this far, it means you're just as invested in uncovering the truth as the rest of us. And trust me, the next chapter of this story will require everyone paying attention. More whistleblowers are speaking. More files are being reviewed. And when the next wave of leaks drops, you're going to want to be here first. So hit like right now, not just for the channel, but to help expose what's been hidden for years. Hit subscribe with all notifications on so you don't miss the next update, because the moment those missing journal pages surface, everything we think we know right now is going to flip. And remember this: if these leaks were just the beginning, what's coming next might rewrite the entire story of Erika, Judith, and Charlie forever. Stay ready,